Is Ford going to build the Kia Stinger? From Ford Authority, a Mustang Mach-4 trademark has been filed. Are we getting a four-door Mustang? Now, the thing is, there has been a lot of talk about having a four-door Mustang stretching all the way back to 1965. More recently, in 2005, Ford did create a full-scale Mach-E 19 chassis. And even more recently than that, in 2018, Ford was reconsidering four-door Mustang and was even showing concept work to select dealers. In 2020 and 24, it actually was confirmed that there is talks of a Mustang, a four-door Mustang, on the table. And according to Jim Farley, as long as it has the right attitude and performance, it's definitely something that they are considering. So here's the thing. We've already had one Mustang offshoot with the Mach-E. So the question is, what is a Mustang at this point? Is it a two-door sporty car with roots all the way back to the 60s? Is Mustang just going to be the word Ford is going to use for performance? Now, this is honestly my take. This reminds me of the 85 Ford LTD LX. Billed as a four-door Mustang back in time, it came with, a similar powertrain to what the Ford Fox body had at that time. Now, it was a bit more detuned because it is a family sedan at the end of the day. It only made 165 horsepower. Not really great sounding today, considering the fact that most economy cars are making 165 horse plus. But, after the 70s and the 80s, mid-1980s, being able to have more horsepower and having that as an option was definitely welcome. So honestly, for me, for a Ford Mustang sedan, I say bring it on. Here's why. Dodge no longer makes the Charger sedan. With it now being a coupe with either a turbo 6-cylinder or an EV, there's going to be a huge market that's going to be unserved. The thing about the Dodge Charger was that it was a big, cheap car that you could get a lot of performance out of. Sure, you had the Challenger, but sometimes you need a little bit more versatility, or you just plain want a roomier car. With the Chevy SS being long since dead, and what were the last fun Ford cars? The Ford Fusion Sport, Taurus, SHO. While they weren't bad cars, compared to, say, a Dodge Charger or even the Chevy SS, it just didn't scratch the itch. It was like, okay, this is cool, but it's not 100% there, Now, if Ford is planning a four-door Ford Mustang with the current powertrains that are in the coupe, they might actually have a winner. Here's why. So, as someone who's had a Mustang since he was 18, and I'm 36 now, so I feel old, it's fun having a sporty coupe when you're in your teens and in your 20s, but then you get old, then you get married, maybe you have kids, maybe you have parents you have to take to dog points, maybe you have pets, maybe you gotta do the grocery run. After a while, having a coupe can kind of suck. So, I think it's actually a smart play if Ford does make a sedan, especially with being able to have the EcoBoost or, of course, the 5.0 V8. Because on one hand, it's a great way to get Mustang enthusiasts who had to sell their car and adult up. On the flip side, it can also bring in other enthusiasts from other brands, maybe people who used to have a Dodge Charger or Challenger, or maybe they had something else, it really doesn't matter, but it gives someone an option to have, a powerful, sporty car again in their life. Now, here's the other part. The counterpart to this idea is what if Ford makes a four-door Mustang and it's EV? I'm not against EVs, but, the Mach-E definitely has created a lot of controversy. By itself, in a vacuum, it's a competent electric SUV. It's just the name Mustang Mach-E is a little sacrilegious, because Mustang has always been known as a sporty sports car. Great words. And while it is possible to have the Mach perform very well for an electric SUV, it still feels tainted a little bit, if that makes sense. It just doesn't feel right, And honestly, it just comes down to having the name Mustang on the back of the tailgate. Even if it was just called the Mach-E, I doubt there would have been not nearly as much backlash. On the flip side, I can see why they put that there, because guess what? It's a great way to get the name out there. Oh my goodness. Now the thing is, if this Mustang four-door sedan was EV only, my concern is how expensive it would be. If you price out electric vehicles, they can go into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's a lot of money, and I'm not exactly sure if Ford has the brand cachet to really command that much price, especially for a car that, if we're talking about a four-door Mustang, especially for a car that traditionally we think of a V8 Mustang, not an electric vehicle. I mean, think right now about the reviews we're getting for the Dodge Charger. I haven't seen a road test yet, but I mean, the unveiling video was a little bit underwhelming, seeing, a fake piped in audio soundtrack for engine rubble, motor rubble, I want to call it that. Now, what I think Ford should do is they should honestly offer both. If they do a four-door Mustang, have the Turbo 4, have the V8, and then have the EV. Give people options. Because when it comes to EV powertrain, it's already in the Mach-E. If that's something that they can just kind of shoehorn in there, great. Hopefully all that's paid for. And when it comes to the engines, well, I mean, those have been around for over a decade plus now at this point. Because the thing is, giving people a compromise to come back to Ford showroom, heck, for Ford to get back to making cars, if we can give people options that are fun to drive and that aren't crossovers, I say go for it. So honestly, what do you think? Should Ford make a four-door sedan? If they do make a four-door sedan, I mean, should it be a Mustang? Should it be called something else? I'm personally fine with just calling it, the Mustang. And honestly, I would consider one as a daily drive. So with that being said, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe if you like the type of content. I'll see you guys next time.